Welcome to the at-home chromatography lab. It is really important that you follow these directions because you only have 2 pieces of chromatography paper and you need both pieces to perform the lab. So there was a list of everything that you needed to get. Your stuff at your house may look a little bit different and that's okay. Just kind of make it work what you guys have at home. Like I don't have toothpicks, but I found some skewers from the summer when we barbecued and I just cut those in half. It's a lot easier if you have toothpicks because they have that nice point. All right, so the first thing is we're going to do is on our chromatography paper, we're going to make a line with pencil. And it's really important that this pencil line is in pencil and not in pen. If it's in pen, what's going to happen is the pen is going to bleed where the pencil will not. So you're going to make a hash about 1 centimeter up. And if you don't have a ruler with centimeters on it, it's right in between the line of a quarter of an inch and a half an inch. So you're going to make a dash and a line across both pieces of chromatography paper. Now that my lines are drawn, I'm going to make my solution. So you need to have 1 glass or cup that has 3 cups of water in it. So that's what this measuring cup was for. You can use the glass ones as well. So 3 cups of water. And what you're going to do is pour 1/8 of a tablespoon of salt into the water and mix it up. Here's my 1/8 tablespoon into the water and stir. All right. So once this is stirred in and mixed in, and you need to make sure that all of the salt is dissolved. It is not very much salt for the amount of water we have. Then you're also going to have a larger container, and what you're going to pour is an extremely thin layer onto the bottom. So you want to make it so when you touch your chromatography paper, it is barely touching the paper. So a very, very small amount, because remember, here's your line, and you want to make sure when you put the chromatography paper into the water, it doesn't touch the line automatically. It's actually the paper is going to suck the water up. Now it's time to do our dyes. So if you have a little dropper at home, that's helpful. We just have this little medicine dropper from my daughter, so that works. You want to make really 6 small little dots. If you did Skittles, I think there's only 5 colors of Skittles, and that's okay. You want to spread it out, that's probably too big, all over the plate, so that way the colors don't bleed into each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Probably add a little more here. That one's good. And then all you're going to do is take your colors and you're going to roll the M&M or the Skittle into them. You want to make sure you get the dye, the colored dye, and not the white. So you're going to notice, like, once it's out, there's going to be like a little white layer. You don't want to get the white in there because we want these dyes nice and dark. So do that for all 6 of your colors. Here is my finished dyes. It's really important that you don't mix the dyes together. So when you're lifting up your M&Ms or your Skittles, you might want to make sure that you wash your fingers off in between. I got a little orange here, and you just want to make sure you're not intermixing them with one another. So you have your dyes, and then you're going to put your filter paper on a paper towel or a napkin, if that's what you have, and you're going to now dip your toothpick, or for me, I just have these little skewers, and you're going to dip it into your dye, and then you're going to spread them out 3 and 3 on here. So I had a little bit of dye on here, and all I'm doing is on this line, I'm making a little dot of the color. So just transfer it over. You want it to be small because you don't want it to bleed, and you want it to just be on a little dot on the filter paper. Okay, and spread them out so they don't bleed into each other. And then you want to make sure, again, with your toothpick, you're not intermingling. So I used both sides of this for the orange, so I need a new one. So now my chromatography paper has the colors on it spread out evenly, And this is where you're going to take your first photo. You want to either put a school ID or your picture in the photo and do a little selfie with you, your chromatography paper, your plate, the M&M candies in it. So kind of group it all together to have the first picture. The next thing we're going to do is take our tape now and we're going to tape this paper to our pencil. So as you're taping your chromatography paper to your pencil, you want to make sure that when you set your pencil onto your thing, that it's not going to touch the bottom of the container, but it's also going to touch the water. So I measure it out with 1, and then I'm just going to make the other chromatography paper be the exact same length. To dot these 2 or 3 times, my dots right now, for the sake of this demo, they're not dark enough. So you're going to want to make sure my blue is dark enough, and that's really about it. So I would need to go back and redot my orange, my brown, my red, my green especially. And you're going to want to wait until this dries completely, the dots, before you stick it into your measuring the liquid with the salt, the water with the salt. So you're going to let it dry. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly lower this into the container once it's all dried up. And we're going to let it just kind of sit here. So you want to make sure when you set this in, your pieces of paper do not touch the side, okay? And that they are touching the water, but not the bottom, okay? And then we're just going to sit here and wait, okay? You are going to want to wait here and take a photo that you're doing this as well. Make sure you have the date, and the paper is the water's going to slowly go up the paper, and you're going to wait, it could be up to like 15 minutes to 20 minutes maybe, but you're going to wait until it's just about to the top of the paper. You want to wait till it's like 1 or 2 centimeters down. You want to make sure you don't do what I did here on this one. Do you see how there's the tape? That's going to stop the dye from going up. So you need to make sure when you tape it, you don't have the tape going on the top of your paper. That's going to mess up your results. Okay, so I want to do one that showed you don't do this one. Don't do this one. Do it like this. And you're just going to wait, and as you can see, the water is already starting to go up my filter paper. And you're going to see that it's wet, and you're going to wait till it's just about 1 or 2 centimeters from the top, and then you can take it out and measure your results. Please refer back to your lab sheet to get the way that you measure and calculate how far each dye is moving.